These two Roblox games were made by the same studio, released only months apart, and one became 100 times bigger than the other. They both use keyboard keys, they use almost identical visuals, and they were built around surprisingly similar ideas. Yet one reached around 10 million visits, the other exploded past 1 billion, a difference so large that it almost doesn't make any sense. So what happened? Did the second game have better marketing, better updates, better timing, or did Secretverse accidentally discover something Roblox players couldn't stop playing? To answer that, we need to start with the game everyone forgot. In late 2025, Secretverse released Keyboard Tower, and it worked. The game attracted millions of visits. Players enjoyed the keyboard theme, the sound effects were satisfying, and the concept was easy to understand. For most Roblox developers, this will have been their biggest success. And that's what makes this story so strange. Because Keyboard Tower wasn't a failure, it was already successful. Successful enough that many studios would have stopped right there. But Secretverse did. They kept experimenting. And that decision would eventually create one of Roblox's biggest games. The problem wasn't obvious, but it was there. Players climbed for long stretches without anything changing. No feedback, no reward, just progress that felt far away. And in modern Roblox, that's dangerous. Because players don't stay for patience anymore, they stay for constant feedback. And Secretverse would solve that in their next game. A few months later, Secretverse released another keyboard game. At first glance, it looked almost identical. Same theme, same style, same simplicity, but hidden inside was one tiny change. Every few seconds, you become faster, and players could feel it immediately. That's it. No revolutionary feature, no complicated system, no massive redesign, just one number constantly increasing. And somehow, that tiny change transformed everything. People love progress, especially visible progress. In Keyboard Tower, progress was delayed. In +1 speed keyboard escape, progress never stopped. Every few seconds, the game reminded players they were getting stronger, faster, better, closer to the next goal. The reward wasn't waiting at the end. The reward was happening constantly, and players stayed longer because of it. But here's the surprising part. That still doesn't explain 1 billion visits, because for weeks, the game looked completely normal. Nobody knew they were watching one of Roblox's next billion visit game. For weeks, nothing unusual happened. The game was growing, but not at a rate that suggested what was coming. Then the curve started changing. Month after month, the numbers climbed faster. Millions became tens of millions. Tens of millions became hundreds of millions. The growth wasn't just continuing, it was accelerating. And that's what made the situation different. Because games can survive on good design, but explosive growth usually needs something more. And that's exactly when another force entered the picture. The game's progression system solved the problem every creator faces, finding content ideas. Every speed milestone became a thumbnail, every new area became a challenge. Every challenge became a video. For example, starting over and become the fastest, attempting to be a certain stage. The game practically generated content by itself, and once larger Roblox creators started covering it, everything changed. Millions of viewers were suddenly seeing the same game. The concept was simple, the progression was obvious, and the payoff was visible within seconds. Creators loved making videos about it, viewers loved watching them, and every successful upload introduced thousands of new players to the game. At At this point, the game entered a feedback loop. Players created visibility, visibility attracted creators, creators attracted more players created even more visibility, and the cycle repeated again and again and again. But here's where the scale becomes difficult to comprehend. Keyword Tower finished with around 10 million visits. A huge achievement by Roblox standards, the kind of number most developers dream about reaching. Yet, plus one speed keyboard escape eventually became so large that it could game the equivalent of Keyboard Tower's entire audience in a tiny fraction of its lifetime. The sequel wasn't just bigger, it was operating on an entirely different scale. Soon, the game became impossible to ignore. Eventually, the game crossed 1 billion visits, a milestone only a tiny fraction of Roblox games ever reach. And when you compare it to Keyboard Tower, the difference is astonishing. Two games, one studio, almost identical themes, yet one became roughly 100 times bigger. The craziest part? Thingiverse didn't create a better keyboard game, they created a better feeling. Keyboard Tower asked players to chase progress. Plus one speed keyboard escape made progress happen constantly. And once YouTubers amplified that loop, the results became impossible to stop. Keyboard Tower proves players liked the idea. Plus one speed keyboard escape proved what they actually loved, was watching themselves become faster. One game asked players to earn progress. The other made progress chase the player. In Roblox, that difference was worth a billion visits, because players don't just want progress, they want to feel it. Anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.